Welcome back to Riley Everyday as we continue our countdown through the top 5 storylines in every power conference. Next up, we have the Big 12. And checking in at number 5, let's talk about the coaches with the most to prove this upcoming season. So over the past 15 years, the Big 12 has established itself among the best conferences in the country. You know exactly what you're going to get from it year in and year out, and that is quality hoops. The league has finished no lower than 3rd in KenPom's conference rankings every year since 2012. Moreover, from 2014 through 2024, it logged 9 first-place finishes. Great programs, players, and coaches all characterize this conference. But that doesn't mean that every front man is safe. So for today's storyline, we're looking at the coaches facing the most pressure for 2025 and 2026. Now, a couple of these coaches perch on an especially hot seat. I'm thinking Bobby Hurley and Johnny Dawkins in particular. But truth be told, I don't really expect either Arizona State or UCF to be close to the NCAA tournament picture, so their days might be numbered. Instead, I want to focus on two who have a shot to save their jobs in Wes Miller and Jerome Tang. So Wes Miller begins year 5 at Cincinnati, and he has yet to take the Bearcats to the big dance. Moreover, a deeper dive into his record reveals a troubling trend. He's just 18-44 against KenPom top 75 opponents in his Cincy tenure. His main problem has been on the offensive end, where his teams have struggled to score. This was most apparent last season, where the Bearcats failed to crack 60 points in 7 Big 12 games, including the conference tournament. Now, the lack of scoring, it puts a ton of pressure this year on top 25 freshman Sean Abayev. Now, the 6'7" wing is an absolute bucket. He should be one of the best, if not the best, ISO scorer in the class. He'll probably have the freedom to take whatever shot he wants. But actually, that last point kind of highlights my concerns for Cincy. I'm just not buying any other shot creator on this team. Jizzle James has been wildly inefficient throughout 2 seasons, and he doesn't get to the free throw line enough. And I don't know if I really want to trust Kerr Kriisa in the Big 2025 either. However, the front court is very intriguing. Baba Miller boomerangs back to the high major ranks after a breakout year at FAU, and Mustafa Tom has everything you want in a modern-day 5-man. But I just don't know if Cincy has the perimeter players to maximize that unit. Now, Tang, on the other hand, looked like one of the best up-and-coming coaches his first season on the job in 2023. Led by Cousy Award winner Marquise Noel and third-team All-American Keontae Johnson, the Wildcats defied expectations. They logged their highest win total since 2013 and reached the Elite 8 in the process. But let's be real, 2023 feels like eons ago. It's been a steady decline since, because both the past 2 seasons, K-State has finished below 500 in Big 12 play. Consequently, they haven't been back to the big dance. High profile and high price tag transfer additions like Coleman Hawkins, Ugonna Nyenzo, Doug McDaniel, Tyler Perry, and Arthur Kaluma, they've all underachieved. Tang has been unable to push the right buttons. However, this year he has another roster with some star power that could reverse course. Headliners PJ Haggerty, who is one of the best players in the country last year. He's a true lead guard who scores in a variety of ways and lives at the charity stripe. Now, Nate Johnson will join him in the backcourt. He's a transfer out of Akron. This past season, he was the MAC Player of the Year and made the All-Defense team as well. He's a stocky guard who has a good first step. He can get to the paint at will, and he also draws a ton of fouls. So neither he or Haggerty are really known for their three-point shooting, but they're explosive and physical and shouldn't have any problem putting the ball in the basket. But speaking of three-point shooting, Andre Kostic out of Serbia is a catch-and-shoot assassin. He can do a little bit off the bounce as well, and most recently he made over 3 threes per game at the FIBA U19 World Cup. There's a pretty easy route to playing time for Kostic. He's not the only international joining this team, as Elias Rapiake, who's a German forward, comes to Manhattan, and he can do a little bit of everything. 6'7", big, physical, can rebound, pass, and put the ball on the deck. He dominated the second division of Germany's top league, but also saw action for the first team and in the EuroLeague. Now, ultimately, I actually really like this roster. I think it's a bubble team that slides in as an 8 or a 9 seed, and that could be enough to buy Tang another year, even if it doesn't ultimately quiet the concerns. The last guy we'll discuss faces no danger of losing his job, but I want to talk a little bit about Scott Drew. Because since Baylor's national title in 2021, the Bears have failed to get out the first weekend. This year, all eyes will be on freshman Tunde Yesufu to help break that trend. The 6'5 wing has a chiseled frame and freak athleticism, and he's just scratching the surface of his potential as a scorer. Baylor will need him to hit the ground running, though. It can't afford to have him mirror guys like Kendall Brown or Jacoby Walter, who had all the tools but couldn't quite put it all together. Luckily for him, he'll have some nice pieces next to him in the front court. Drew worked really hard to correct Baylor's size issues from last year by bringing in Oregon State transfer Michael Ratai and High Point transfer Juslin Bodo Bodo. Ratai is a really underrated stretch four. He was the fourth leading scorer in the WCC last season. Meanwhile, Bodo Bodo has that prototypical center size. I don't really think that'll be an issue for him moving up a level. He should be an instant impact defender immediately. Ultimately, though, the questions still remain in the backcourt, where Scott Drew doesn't have NBA talent at the 1 and the 2 for the first time in what feels like ages. Instead, he will look to Wyoming transfer Obi Ogbum. He's a true lead guard. He's very crafty with the ball in his hands and has a flamethrower. He was especially automatic in late shot clock situations for Wyoming last season, but there will probably be a learning curve moving up to the Big 12. I just think it's more difficult when you're a guard versus being a big as an up transfer, but we'll see if Scott Drew can make all the pieces fit, to get them to gel, to get back to the Sweet 16, and hopefully further if you're a Bears fan.